check this because you will have to do partner sharing. So as long as you're close to someone that has a laptop open on that site, that would be just helpful. Okay. All right. So it seems like that everybody really enjoyed the video, and you discussed a little bit about what it's like to be a detective. So one of our new vocabulary words that we're going to be using, and there's actually 3 forms of it, is to infer, inferring, or making an inference. And looking at the website, this is on Study Zone. I'm going to go ahead and put it on our class website so you guys can refer to it and show your parents. And there's also some practice that you can, if this is a little challenging, there's some practice activities that you can go back and do. So right off the bat, let's read follow along please. We're going to read what the definition is. What is an inference? You make an inference when you use clues from the story to figure out something that the author doesn't tell you. The second definition says, when you make an inference, be able to identify the clues that you have used. So we are going to refer back to that, and then what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to read the very first story. And this is about Pete and his friend Ted. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to model looking for those clues. And in our reading, sometimes clues we use before the word details and evidence. So we can use those words too. Does anybody remember what a synonym is? Cynthia?
Words that mean the same?
Exactly. So, the word infer, or excuse me, the word clue is the same as evidence in detail. And we look for those words, or the information in our text. Okay? So here's the story. Follow along as I read it. Pete called Ted Tuesday afternoon and invited him to come to his house after dinner to watch a movie. It had been a long, boring day, and Ted was excited to have something to do. After dinner, he hopped on his bike and pedaled over to Pete's house. The house was dark, and when he rang the bell, there was no answer. Ted turned around, hopped back on his bike, and rode away. So they used another word. The question is, what had Ted concluded? What did Ted figure out? What kind of clues? What was going on? I'm going to make an inference. The author doesn't really tell me this, but I'm going to make a really good guess. Pete wasn't home. So if I click on here, no one was home. Pete wasn't home. What were my clues? I go back to the text and I look. Let's see. The house was dark. That's a clue, because I know that when I'm not home, I keep my lights off, or it's dark. And then when he rang the doorbell, no one answered it. So usually what happens when you ring the doorbell, someone comes to the door. They're home. So let's see. Let's click on this. Here's our first clue. No lights on. It was dark. Second clue. No one answered. So what I did is I read the text, and I was inferring. I was looking for clues, looking for information. The author didn't say no one was home, but from what I read, I figured that out. So what I would like you to do next is to go to story number 2, And this one is about Patty. And I think what I'll do is I'll read it out loud and then look at it with your elbow partner. Try to make an inference. Discuss it. What is the author not telling us? And then we're going to find 2 clues to see if we're right. Okay, so let's read the story. Again, it's about Patty. Achoo! Patty sneezed. She sneezed again, and then a 3rd time. She felt very warm and her head hurt. She dragged herself out of bed and called her boss. She told her boss she wouldn't be going to work. Okay? Once again, partners, go ahead, discuss, make an inference, and figure out 2 clues from the text. Go.
I think she's not going to work because she's sick.
The picture helps too.
She sneezed, and also it says that she's warm and her headache hurts. Those are the clues.
You felt very warm when I was sick.
Okay. 3, 2, 1. Eyes up here. Thank you. All right. I'm going to go around the room. Table group 1. What was the inference you made?
We decided that Patty might have been sick.
Okay. Let's go to table group 2.
We also thought that Patty was sick.
Did anybody think of anything different? What were our clues? That table.
She sneezed.
She sneezed. Is there another clue?
Her head hurt.
Her head hurt. So when you're sick, thumbs up if you've ever been sick. I think we've all been sick. Okay, thumbs down. So you sneeze, your head can hurt, you may be feeling warm from a fever. So those were all the clues to determine that Patty was sick. Good. All right, so let's check. Let's see if you guys were right. And we click it. She was sick. You were right. Let's see if your clues were on. She sneezed. Yep. And she was warm and she had a headache. Excellent job. All right. The next part that I would like us to do is, it seems like you're getting, well, first let me ask, thumbs up if you understand how to infer or to make an inference. If you're not quite sure, sideways, not at all, not getting it. Okay, ready? Here we go. Okay, it looks like most of you understand it. Thumbs down. Thank you so much. We are going to continue to practice this because I'm going to say sometimes inferring or making inferences can be a little challenging. So we're going to continue to practice. And one of the ways we've been doing this is making frames. This is we're going to glue into our journals. But before we do that, let's see. I want us to go. We've been, let's see. There we go. I want us to go back. We've been kind of previewing what we're going to learn. Here is our learning target. I can identify clues. Again, our synonyms for clues are details or evidence from text to figure out something the author has not specifically written or told me. Just like our former definition, the definition on the website. something the author